Welcome to One a Days with Baz. This is Baz, and today I'd like to talk to some experts about scripting and plugins, SDKs, C++ and Python and Coffee and Xpresso, because I'm using some of these topics to achieve something. And yeah, I'm very new to Cinema 4D. This is day 29 for me. And I made a script. It uses Python and Xpresso to take in a graphics image. Here, why don't I just show you? So this is just a Python script, and I'm just going to show you what it does. So I'm going to load in this graphics image here, and then it'll automatically create a bunch of stuff. So it creates a clone of a cube in grid array style. And then it makes a bunch of MoGraph selections according to each color that's in the graphics image. And then it uses, it creates a texture. These are just old ones. Creates a texture which is driven by color shaders for each of the different colors in the image. So using the MoGraph selections, we can do this. And I'm trying to take it a step further. Let me go to this guy here. So what I've done on this one is the next step, which I've done manually, but I want to automate. So I have to talk about this as well. So the added thing I want is an interface like this. Now these two aren't supposed to be user editable, first of all, and I'm not sure how to have, but I want it to be data that I won't get into that yet. But I can adjust the depth, for instance. I'm not sure which one of these I'm working with, but I can adjust the depth. So the one in the back there you see is getting bigger. And the spacing between the pixels, quote unquote pixels. So if I zoom in on this guy, we can take the spacing and we can see that. And then there's the pixel size, which, yeah, stuff like that. And then there's the transparency, where we can actually specify what shader we want to not show up. For instance, if I take that out, we get that. So this is all manually created user data, as we can see, and then I've got the Xpresso that hooks up all this user data and does things, to say the least. Like, for instance, I don't even want to get into the details again. I just think it's kind of outside of the scope of what I really want to ask you guys that are watching this. Basically, I have all this, but I'm so new that I'm not really sure if I'm using the right tools to get the job done. I haven't made a plugin, and I'm not sure what having a plugin would change about whether it would make something easier. Like, I have no idea. But right now it's a script, and if I go back to the file where I created one of these objects live, I don't know what else to say. It's very convoluted. For instance, in order to get these MoGraph selections, I had to actually see, there's no obvious way that I could find, at least, that would allow you to access or create the MoGraph selections themselves from Python. And I've got some links that I found that support that. Even though they're 2 years old, I haven't. So because I didn't know how to make a MoGraph selection in Python, I actually had to make another Xpresso tag, and for every single one of those MoGraph selections, I need to make. You're going to see there's going to be a bunch of these because I didn't program like an organization of these things. But you need to make a MoGraph selection tag node, and then there's there should also be, then there's this, which is, ugh. And then the iterator, I don't even want to get into like all of the sheer details and experience that went into why I needed to make all these things just to make a MoGraph selection in Python. But they're all necessary. I can't say that with enough confidence since I've only been doing Python C4D for a day and a half, but going on 2 days now. So I don't want to tell you why I had to do all this, but I did have to do all that, and I did make it this far using Python, and making these Xpresso nodes from Python, making all the effectors. So what am I getting at? Well, I started running into real big trouble when I was trying to make the final portion of my project here, which is the user data needs to get made, but I didn't get into that yet. And before that I said, okay, I'm going to make all of the Xpresso nodes that you saw me show in the finished manual version. So I started, and you see I've got all these nodes that it's getting there, But what I found out is that in Python, if I add in the size X output port or the size Y or both of them, once I do that, the cube node will get yellowed, meaning that it's not effective. And I don't know why. And I even found out that if I don't add these ports from Python, but I make the node and add these ports from Python, once I add, actually let's try right now. What I'm expecting to happen is that once I add this and click out, it might go yellow, but it didn't seem to have gone yellow. Maybe it's actually not going yellow. So at the very least, then adding these output ports from Python causes this thing to go yellow. And as you guys should already know, there's also issues when trying to add the output object port. So I had to also go into, jumping hoops to access these MoGraph selection tags object attributes. That's what, where's the selection tag coming from? It must be buried underneath all of these. Let's see, where the heck is it? No, it's these. Oh, it's yes, this is actually the MoGraph selection tag, but we had to access the object by making user data. I mean, just because for some reason it's broken, creating an output port for the object port. So yeah, super crazy. Something is awry in the C4D. And that must, I imagine, now I know I'm a noob at this, but I'm pretty good at this too. So I imagine that that same sort of convoluted error bug in C4D is the same thing that's causing this cube to go yellow on me when I'm trying to add these output ports. Now maybe I'm wrong. I don't mind being wrong. If someone knows why it's happening, please chime in. I've made a forum post on plugin, there's like that plugins something. It's the, Maxon's support forum for developers. I made some posts in there on the Python section. Please help me out. I'm trying to make this killer plugin for myself, so thank you for that. And what I really want to get out of this, now that you've seen all this stuff, is like that I want to have all these things connected, and since I only know Xpresso and Python, you saw how I went to making user data and then hooking it up with the Xpresso here, combined with Python here. Like, this is actually a good reason to have Python here, is actually I iterate through all of the effectors that I have. This is for specifying, this is for making those certain shaders transparent. I don't want to explain it. So I won't explain it, but what you're seeing is that I only know how to do this with Python, Xpresso, and making user data, so that I have a certain interface here at the end of the day. So what I'm asking you now, if you've made it this far, is what what can I do, or is there something that exists that will make this easier for me? Am I not going about this in the best way? Um, because if there's a way to link all of these things together and not have to actually create Xpresso nodes from Python, and everything's kind of very difficult in that way for me, let me know. And let me know if there's some sort of benefit to making this a plugin versus a script. What sort of features would that provide me that I would appreciate other than it simply being a plugin? And should I go to C++? Doing it in C++ looks really hard. I mean, I've programmed in that language. I'm a programmer too. I've been programming for 12 years in various languages, but it looks like a pain. Because, I don't want to have to go through all that. So if I can stay away from that, I'd rather. Okay, that's about all the time I have. I hope that you're getting something out of this for me. I hope that you can see something that I'm missing in this whole thing, because I have another problem. Oh my god. See this cloner? I got to take in these cloner attributes, the size and the size y, and for some reason, when I make these from Python, they don't come up. And the weirdest thing is that I made another forum post on this. I hope you can take a look at it. It's at that same website. I can't remember the name of it. I'm going to look it up right now. But the weirdest thing is that if I use the same exact code in a Python tag, it'll actually create the ports. So I feel like the problem arises from how the cloner is created in this Python script, and then the cloner is made into a grid array in the Python script. So I'm having this intuition that maybe somehow there's like a state machine that doesn't get updated, so that the cloner node knows that it even has these ports, because when I try to add them, they don't even add. And I don't know why. So very frustrated with this. I'm at like the last steps, it feels like, in the unknown territory. Who knows what is left before me. But if you go to the plugincafe.com/forum, these are where all my questions are. You can see I'm also interested in eventually learning how to add and exclude user data among the other user data that you've seen on my null here, all this user data. And then some of the other problems I ran into: adding object outputs causing yellowing. I already talked about that. And I hope I talked about the cloner. I probably forgot to talk about the cloner. Damn. No, I probably mentioned the cloner in here. It says strange. I need to change this topic. That's where all this stuff is, guys. I really hope you can help out. I'm going to be posting this video anywhere I can that has to do with C4D, Python, SDK, Xpresso, plugins, all that good stuff. Once again, thanks. I have to let it go. So let me go ahead. Bye bye.